Hi, I'm Rosa Hill, and welcome back to part two of my educational series on intimate partner violence. October is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Listener discretion is advised, but if you're a young person or anyone experiencing or witnessing intimate partner or domestic violence, I encourage you to watch the series in hopes to help you identify, prevent, and or leave an abusive relationship so you can begin to break the intergenerational cycle of abuse. Intimate partner violence is rooted from one's conditioning and observation of their parents, their caregivers, mentors, and peers, with most of the influence coming directly from their caregivers or parents. Parents, caregivers, there's a lot of different names of people who are raising children nowadays. Nothing's nuclear anymore, which is fine. So the intimate partner violence is learned behavior, and it's the norm for some societies. The U.S. has progressed towards awareness and prevention, but it still continues to be ever present in our society, as well as the societies of other progressive countries. It's not just limited to conservative societies and countries known for maintaining a patriarchal society. Intimate partner violence also stems from an individual's need to control their partner. They gain control by putting on the charm and love bombing. Um, they might initially give off a sense or a feeling of home. This is a red flag for potential seedlings of a toxic and potentially abusive relationship. So if you come to the conclusion that it's a prodromal or an early manifestation, that this red flag is something to really pay attention to, or it's legit, you you might be able to walk away easily if you do it now. It's better sooner than later. Once the batterer thinks they have their partner where they want them, they begin alienating the partner's family and friends until their partner has no other support system other than the batterer. The batterer may also isolate their partner far from their support system under the guise of a fresh new start. The abuse has usually been going on for some time by then, and it starts to draw attention in the form of support to the partner, to the victim. So the batterer takes the victim to where it's more difficult for an intervention. They may regularly tell their partner that no one will ever love them, they're unlovable, they're crazy, they're stupid, and they're always wrong. They might interrupt, stonewall, gaslight, abuse them financially, or threats of legal issues, publicly embarrass or humiliate them, or use the children as leverage to remain in control. It usually falls back to the habitual batterer's need to validate the measure of their perceived strength and be in control. Mental illness might exacerbate the violent tendencies, but it doesn't cause the violence. Violence has to be observed and learned by the individual at some point, or the individual would not know to be violent, mentally ill, or otherwise. There are diversion programs for mentally ill offenders in some states. If the batterer doesn't adhere to the mental health regimen and other directives ascribed by the legal system, they'll have to go back to jail. They can be conditioned even if they don't fully understand. The point is they have to be stopped. Um, Intimate partner violence varies between societies regarding the acceptance, tolerance, or intolerance of intimate partner violence. It depends on where and how you were raised. In patriarchal societies, it's sometimes seen as a trait that defines a male's manhood. The conditioning, which is nurture, is much stronger than genetics, which is nature. If you take a baby and love them, they'll thrive. If you don't engage your baby with love, eye contact, and human touch, they might lack the ability to thrive. With that said, there's several other reasons why an infant might not thrive, and it's not necessarily limited to infants who've experienced neglect or abuse. So please don't take offense if you have a child who didn't thrive as an infant. I'm just giving an example of nature versus nurture. People are just like other mammals. If we're treated kindly and loved while we're being raised, we'll be kind to others and we'll love each other in healthy ways. If we're being mistreated, neglected, and abused, just like the rescue dog, we run the risk of biting back when we have strong feelings with no coping skills. Children learn from their parents or caregivers. In some households, children may also be witnessing or experiencing abuse from the batterer. While they may fear their abusive caregiver, they often look up to them as role models because they're the ones who make their lives happy or sad. In some cases, a child may start to fantasize about being in charge, running a household, being married, having kids, and doling out make-believe punishments to their make-believe children and spouse. This is where the need for power and control over their partner manifests and then comes out later in life. It's like the child sees the different roles as if life is a stage. And the characteristics in the family have certain roles, and each role must possess certain rigid traits. This is appealing to some children because they're tired of playing the part of the helpless child. They want to play someone else's part, a more powerful part, because they never had control. They want to run the show someday with the only blueprint that they've come to know. In early childhood, the child may also draw pictures depicting scenes of corporal punishment, sexuality, and intimate partner violence. School-age children may demonstrate these tendencies in the form of bullying or animal cruelty. The child learns intimate partner violence as a rite of passage and how to solve problems in the household and sometimes across environments. It depends on what they witnessed as a child. Um, it also depends on their parents' social skills and how their parents interacted in their social circles. So it's there's a lot of variables. But thanks for watching this episode. That concludes part 2 of the series. Again, wear your purple ribbons to honor the domestic violence victims. And if you're in an abusive relationship and you need help, call the national hotline for domestic violence at 1-800-799-7233. That's 1-800-799-7233. Please like, subscribe, and stay tuned for part 3.